What if the news could unite us across our differences? And what's really going on in the halls of power, regardless of who's elected in office? Welcome to the Want to Know Weekly Newsletter, where we save you time by summarizing important news articles buried by the mainstream, revealing both the darker forces shaping society and the best of human goodness, creativity, and collective power. Here are a few excerpts of this week's curated news collection. Law expert Dr. Salah Sharif once said that the detached nature of AI drone warfare has dehumanized the enemy, greatly diminishing the necessary psychological barriers of killing. This concerning truth amidst growing global conflict isn't stopping the multi-billion-dollar AI arms race. No regulation or ethical consideration can keep up with the flow of money, as big tech companies and government agencies rush to make warfare smarter, cheaper, and faster, even as AI systems continue to label thousands of civilians as suspected militants. Worst off, defense contractors are generally protected from liability when their weapon systems do not work as intended, even when the results are deadly. While much of our defense spending is allocated to developing new AI weapon systems, $250 million in government contracts is funneled to more than 250 corporations within the military role-playing industry each year. For example, a fake village at one of the largest training facilities in the world is helping soldiers prepare for combat. Here you have fake police and plastic food, yet very real machine guns and explosions. And who are the actors? They're recent refugees, having fled one real-world conflict only to enter another simulated one. And there's even a fake news channel and pretend social media networks, Twitter and Facebook, where officers are being trained to not only win the physical war, but the media war. When the American public has been lied to about every single war we've been in, we now know that our taxpayer dollars help fund the creation of the war lies we're told. A common phrase is that any social system is as sick as its secrets, and government lies are pervasive, from the Clinton campaign and FBI lying about Russian interference in the 2016 election to Dr. Anthony Fauci lying about COVID origins. Is it any wonder that only 22% of Americans say they trust the government? These lies fueled widespread concerns, prompting many people to share their thoughts and research with others on social media because mainstream media wasn't. And instead of open dialogue online, these valid views were censored and ridiculed by government and private entities working with big tech, resulting in a massive censorship campaign against anyone that went against the government narrative. And the Supreme Court recently ruled that government officials are allowed to manipulate social media without recourse. And we're still figuring out how to make the online world a safe space for our youth. Social media platforms kept their research secret on the toxic impacts that social media has on youth self-esteem and body image, in which social media use among teen girls led to an increase in suicidal thoughts. OnlyFans is an online subscription service used by content creators of all types, yet mostly by sex workers. A bipartisan movement is calling on the Justice Department to investigate how OnlyFans facilitates the shocking sexual abuse of young children, including toddlers. Most of us see, if not buy, the bananas sold at most stores around the country, the one with the Chiquita sticker. Well, a U.S. court is holding the multinational fruit company Chiquita liable for financing a Colombian terrorist group from 1997 to 2004. Chiquita succeeded the United Fruit Company, which once owned most of the land in Guatemala and had very close ties with the CIA. When Guatemala's democratically elected president aimed to nationalize the country's land, CIA covert operations installed a military dictator, returning the land back to United Fruit Company. This led to a bloody 40-year civil war and a series of repressive military regimes, armed with CIA-funded weapons. Well, the news isn't all doom and gloom, and it never is. Here are this week's inspiring news articles. A Band of Brothers is an award-winning organization that brings together older male mentors with young men who have been in the criminal justice system. Their work holds space for young men to embark on a powerful rite of passage journey, transforming their traumas into compassion and a sense of life purpose. The No One Dies Alone movement is a touching movement that trains and supports people to serve as companions to people who are dying. When our global society continues to struggle with the loneliness epidemic, people are stepping up to support other humans in the last hours of their lives. And lastly, fungi and native plants are being used to restore land contaminated by petroleum, plastics, and pesticides, and they're seeing incredible results. Now there's a movement to empower local communities to use these tools of nature, which could bring economic opportunities to communities all across the country. Check out these news article summaries below for the full stories. And remember, we can't shift the chaos we're in until we name it clearly. When we can recognize what's pushing us in our personal lives and as a society, we already have a degree of freedom from it. Challenging information can paradoxically remind us of the greater good. It is the courage of the people and the love for the common good that bring these injustices to light, fueling uncensored dialogue and constructive action. If you like these brief newsletter recaps, we invite you to share this widely and share any comments, thoughts, or questions below. We're all in this together.